And so you started your company, you've been funding it yourself,
Yes,
and it's somewhere between a commercially viable business and a passion project.
it
You're
is.
you're working 27 hours a day,
I am.
and you feel strongly about the subject matter, which is clear in not only the work that you do, but also in the posts that you make that many of us follow. And if you don't know, you should follow Leo on LinkedIn, because I think a lot of the comments you make are spot on, and you do it in such a pleasantly unvarnished way that it's easy to digest.
It does
So,
get me in trouble sometimes.
but that's part of the fun probably for you.
It is.
So let's kind of go down to the next step. You've exposed all sorts of things in the industry in terms of fraud, waste, and abuse. You've identified prices that are completely out of control, wildly disparate, oftentimes in the same geography and the same network by the same provider.
Same hospital.
Yeah. And so, what has been the reaction in the marketplace thus far to what you're doing?
So thank you. This has been a crazy year for me. Not only trying to clean up these files and bring a product to market, but what I'm discovering now is that we have another problem, and that's just the industry middlemen who do not want to use the data. So the reaction has been, very favorable, encouraging. This is great, but my sales are not where I thought they would be, not because it's a bad product, but because the people, the middlemen, don't want to disrupt their their paycheck and their clients, the carriers, and that's what I'm facing.
Okay, so
I'm
I want to
facing.
unpack that for a second, because I want everybody to really understand what's going on here, because this is vital and it's important, and it goes to the heart of the unaffordability of healthcare issue. So when you say the middlemen, you're talking about specifically brokers,
I
and
am.
you're talking specifically also about carriers,
Yes, but it's
because
more. I've been more about the brokers. I've had a lot of face-to-face conversations with brokers, and it's just, this is great, and no thank you. And I'm shocked and somewhat amused that this person thinks they can manage medical cost without knowing the unit cost. And it's like, what planet are you on that you think you're doing a good job to your client when you don't have this information? So in one turn, I kind of laugh at them internally. But the other part, I'm really disappointed for the clients who they serve, because they're not being serviced well.
so let me challenge you a little bit on that. You said they're clients, and you're talking about the companies
The
to whom
self-funded
they
employers.
to whom they sell insurance, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
I don't know how they think they're going to.
Hold on for a second. Hold
Go
on for a
ahead.
second.
Go ahead.
Who pays their bill?
It's the carriers.
Right. So who do they really work for?
The carriers.
Right. So that's the problem right there.
It is.
Is that the company believes wrongly that the guy or the girl, the person coming in to visit with them about their healthcare insurance costs is actually working for them. That is wrong. They don't. They work for the carrier. And so what's implicit in what they're saying to you is, I can't do anything that would save money for the company that I'm selling this product to, because it might upset the carrier for whom I actually work.
Yes. Yes. And I've had people tell me that, when they move membership off of the carrier, they are threatened that they'll lose their bonuses for the entire book of business. Like, there is a retaliation if a broker moves members off of a carrier's platform.
Okay, so since the Sherman Act, what do we call that? We call that antitrust violations.
Yes.
Right. So that's an antitrust problem, or maybe for the carriers. because that's an anti-competitive act that, and in most of the major urban areas in the United States, as you well know and have documented, we have an oligopoly. We have what we call the BUCAs in the business: Blue Cross, United, Cigna, and Aetna, who are the four largest payers, and they dominate most markets for the payment of services. So what that means is if you as a broker lose the ability to offer the services of one of those carriers, that means that your ability to make a living is increasingly challenged. My hunch is, and what you're likely to next tell me is, that if you lose your book of business with one, the others probably look over their shoulders and say, "Hey, wait a minute, this guy was a Blue Cross person, and now they're trying to come to me to do some stuff. But hey, I don't like what they just did to Blue Cross, so I'm not going to give them the ability to market my product."
Well, I mean, it's part of that, but I think it's the carrier threat. You move one more member off my platform, and you're not gonna resell our services, and you're not gonna get your bonuses. You're gonna cut them off.
Right.
And I feel that I also hear that with doctors. It's like so many want to get rid of the contracts and the provider abrasion and hoops they have to jump through, but they're afraid of the retaliation from their health system if they leave them. Like, so I've read some doctors are fearful the hospital will terminate their admin privileges to their hospital to do surgeries should they, cancel their contracts with the carriers. So there is this threat of retaliation if they want to, get away from this scam. So
And
that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and as we've talked about in the past, the best way to do this is really through direct payment, right?
Yes.
And if we just paid cash directly, first of all, it'd be cheaper, and second of all, you wouldn't have all this tomfoolery going on with regard to economic stakeholder interests being created, and then they run the risk of being divested of those interests. And so you have all these competing interests that aren't in any way helping the patient.
Yes, and most of my constructive and positive conversations have come with people who are engaging in the direct pay arena. They're going to say, "Hey, we're just going to screw the contracts. We're going to offer you cash, direct pay. We're not looking to pay you. We're not looking to rip you off and pay you Medicaid rates. Let's find, a happy medium that 140, 150% of Medicare. You make your margins. I don't got to deal with the insurance companies, and it's win-win." So most of my positive conversations have come from this population.